Well, hello, everybody. It says that we are live. I got it. We got it. So you got it. So we are here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for bringing your energy to the party because that's what we got. And I'm still waiting for us. Or there we go. I just saw we went live. So we're time traveling now. And so I just speak favor over you all. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Be of service to others. That's planting the seed so that when the time comes, you don't have to worry about the harvest. You already did the work. And happy birthday if you got one. And we are prospering, and we are truly prospering because, Trina, we have a very special guest. Folks, you're going to love this because I am excited. We have the birthday gift, Natacha, with her channel, and the link is below. Natacha, how are you? And thank you for coming on.
Oh, I am fabulous. I am absolutely wonderful.
You're looking fabulous too. And by the way, so are you, Trina, and so are y'all.
Yes.
You are too.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You all are awesome. I love this.
Well, we have fun here. That's all. Then
like I told you, I love watching y'all. Like, especially when you guys are in that conversation and that synergy happens. Oh. And I'm like, yes, exactly, Trina. Yeah, she's getting the messages. Like the same wavelength. I love it.
It's a live wire. I mean, and it's out there, I think, for anyone to plug into, but you've got to have the capacitor right. Otherwise, so yeah. So, boy, we were chatting. In fact, we could have had a show just between the three of us, but we thought we might let y'all in. So anyway, because it was groovy, folks, and just hello to all the moderators and all the rest of the soul tribes. Y'all are beautiful. Robert V is in the house. Go. So I'm excited to get right to this. Wow. Where do we start? So Natacha, when I found you, I was telling Trina this last week. It was weird because, I don't typically look at other channels that are doing readings. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, the algorithm said, well, y'all, you ought to hear this. And when I watched you, you did a general reading for Geminis.
Yes.
And I was like, does she have a camera in here? Where's the recording device? Like, what the freak is going on? And I know you did it for generally, but wow, it was like a direct message. So I said, got to get you on. Hope we can get you on. And so here you are. So welcome to the channel. We do a Tuesday show with Trina and I, a second look. And I can't think of a better thing than a second look where people's life paths are concerned.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really the energy behind why I started the channel. It's like, I remember when I got on my life path and how it changed everything, even the name, the birthday gift, right?
Yeah. And how'd you come up with that, by the way?
Okay. So my name, Natacha, it's the meaning, like the base meaning is birthday. So when you think about NAT, anything with NAT in it, it's like natural. Right? Nature.
Natal.
Yes. The nativity scene, actually. And you all kind of tapped into something like this recently. And you actually was talking about the birthday, like the birthday of Jesus is the nativity scene.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So birthday came from that. And then my last name means gift in French, cadeau. So it's literally my name.
I know a little French, beautiful. But that is beautiful. That is spirit talking.
Yes, it's a frequency of my name. So Natacha is my given name, right? I didn't choose that. It was given to me. And you're going to have the vibration of your name when you're born, right? So you can choose to stay within that box of the vibration because it's your avatar. It's the character you're playing. So you're going to have the personalities of that name, of a Natacha. My Natacha, though, is spelled different. It has a C. And so it still has the same vibration because it sounds the same. And the birthday gift, which is I chose that name, is still the same frequency, but it's me. I created it, right? So it's like stepping into who you truly are. And I was kind of telling you guys when I started the channel, it was like a thought form that came like, well, you start the channel. You like to talk, right? And I do. I love to talk.
And let everyone know that kind of comes back from your background. You come from a corporate setting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's been my life. And I've always been in support roles. And even it's funny because you literally become what you were told to be, right? And that's what astrology is. Based on when you were born, you have a certain signature. And I've always been in a support role. I have a stellium in Virgo. Like all my personal planets are in Virgo, and even my Mercury, which is actually 0 Libra, is in the 6th house, which is still Virgo, and it has that energy of service to others. So it's always, wanting to help people. So I've been the secretary, I've been the executive assistant, so like, the top, the leader.
And human resource. I mean, think about the name itself, human resources.
Managing humans, right?
Are you crazy?
And that was it. It was when I was in human resources. I just started the channel. I was still working full time, but I never imagined that it would be what it is now. I was doing it, I like to look at images. Like I love art, theater, drama, music. I did all of that. I did cheerleading. I did flags. I just love, that side of life. And when I see a picture, I see so much more, right? And then I can interpret it in different ways. Every time I look at it, it's the same picture, it'll give me a different message. I remember when I was at a university, they had an art gallery and I just walked through there and I'd always get something different from the images. So with tarot, it does the same thing. It does the same thing. And now the images, they move. When I first started doing this, it didn't. It would give me an image. Now they're like movies and I can see, and it's like, the more you tap into your intuitive gifts, of course, trust, Trina, you would know, you have to trust what you're getting, right? And because as soon as you say, maybe no, they're not getting it, it's gone. It's like, no, that's what I was given. That's the message. And as soon as you go for it, it flows. Yeah. And that's one of the things I try to tell, those who listen, you have to trust. It's so important. That's the self-sovereignty, right? That's when you say, I'm ready to take responsibility for whatever is happening, right? I'm in control. And that's like the foundation. That's step one in order to be, for lack of a different term, effective in whatever you're trying to do. You have to trust what you're feeling, because the longer you sit and think about it, analyze, what is this? What is that? What if it's not true? Working through fear, the further you are away from like the authentic message that you got, right? So that's, I guess, some backstory, how I started.
I love this.
Yeah.
When I watched you the first time, I immediately picked up my spirit that you had what I come out of a Pentecostal background. You would have what we call the gift of seeing. You were a seer.
Yes.
And a seer uses many different modalities in order to connect and basically kind of give the message for whatever it is you're seeing.
Yes. And the communication part was one of those things. And that's one of the things I'm healing here, is being misunderstood and being okay. Right. And that's going to happen. And you should know that, Wayne. I mean, come on, like people will interpret it for whatever they feel that it is. And then they will tell you that's what you meant. Right.
Yeah. You go,
okay.
What? Let's say that.
It's
Trina, did you hear me say that?
Story of my life. Right.
and it's amazing, Trina, as I'm listening to Natacha here, y'all have similar paths too. I mean, it's amazing. It's the same layer is how I see it, because I see reality as in layers, and each layer
about vibration, like she's saying, we lock into certain frequencies, and instead of casting doubt into it, we actually embrace it and we magnify it and we turn it on and anchor it. It's a frequency, and we can just get there.
Even when you don't like how it feels, right?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's not very fun.
No, and that's what I talked about last week when we were talking about if you had 3 wishes, what would they be? And what I learned from your reading, again, it's one of those soul shaking events when you hear a person that you don't even know basically giving information that so well attunes to your own life. And you're going, wow, how did they know that? But the name, it was interesting when you said giving the background of your name, breaking it out. And it's interesting. I wonder how many of us have a name that we're not aware of, but we very much jive with the frequency.
That's one of those. See, that's one of the things that people don't realize is forming them. Like, you know how you could say, hey, you look like a John. You look like a Bill. Like, yeah, you're totally a cliche. And you're stepping into that role 100%. It's time to get out of default mode. Sometimes that's the message that you're getting. Like, you're totally a such and such. I'm like, you're predictable. That's what they're telling you. And you're a law-abiding citizen and you follow the rules and you fit just right into this club. Members only, right? It's like, okay. No. Okay. We got to step outside of the box sometimes. Yeah. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. We're not here to please anyone, even though while we're doing what we do, we may actually end up pleasing more than we displease. Right. And that's one of those things. For me, I listen to you, Wayne, and you talk about your background in religion, right? And I was very religious too. I was a pious woman. I mean, I could sit here and tell you all the verses of the Bible, all 66. And it was when I started reading, I literally was like, hey, I'm going to read the Bible. Hey, I'm a stay-at-home wife and I have all this time. I can volunteer at the church. I was so wonderful.
I can totally see you in that role. I really can.
I was there.
You know?
I mean, I did.
I'd have been right there speaking in tongues and saying, yeah, she's, but.
And so I loved it. I loved it when I was doing it.
Yeah.
But it also was what brought the awakening. It was something so simple. It was something so simple, right? It was like, okay, I remember I was moving. This is when I was married and we were moving, but we were trying to get rid of a lot of furniture. And the homeowners association that we lived in had a security guard, right? And she was a woman and she would drive around on the little, go-kart thingy. And I remember talking to her once and she's like, we still don't have any furniture and we don't have this and we don't have that. So I was like, hey, we have so much we're trying to get rid of. Come and take it. Like, it's just come by and take it and this is that. So she said, yes, that's awesome. My husband will love it, right? So the next week or so, I was like, hey, you can come by anytime this week. And she was like, oh, my husband said no. And I said, but don't you need it? And then you have all these little kids and he doesn't even work and you're the only one working. I didn't say that, I was thinking that. And I'm like, this would be such a big help for you all. And y'all have the kids and you telling me they eat on the, come by and get it. It's no problem. My husband has a truck. We can actually take it to the house for you. She's like, oh, no, he said no. And you know how it is. When the husband says something, we must. I said, okay, right. But that made me go back. And I was like, I need to go read where it says this, literally, where it says that specific thing. And that was like the rabbit hole. I was like, what else does the Bible say?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some of that Apostle Paul stuff, that a woman is to be quiet, they are to be segregated over to, and it was interesting, they were always put to, which is interesting, the right side of the church. And I'm often wondering, so are they taking the left-hand path? But I digress. But yeah, and I'm going, okay. All right, Natacha, and Trina, I jump anytime you want to, because I got like this 1,000 questions. So coming out of that, you see, I equate the tarot to prophecy. And I equate that to 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, where it talks about the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And in the power gifts are the gifts of prophecy, which to me, it's like, okay, I saw it in action all the time. As I awoke, and now speaking to you with the tarot, because, you know, that is a dichotomy of values and perception and beliefs.
Yes, it is. And the message you'll get depends on what your belief system is. So it's a tool. Okay, it's a tool that you use to help. For me, it helped strengthen my gifts already, intuition.
Yeah.
The way I see tarot is a way for everyone to have a tool for themselves to strengthen their own intuition. Like everyone can do this. And it starts with just trusting what you're getting without looking at it as good or bad. You know, it is what it is. And whatever is there that's coming through, I'm going to allow it to flow through me. And I'm going to trust that it's within my best interest. Now, there are people who's going to say, oh, it's taboo. I can't. That's devil stuff or whatever they're going to say.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's of the devil. Right.
And that's because it's one of those things that really, once you use it in its proper manner, you don't need anything or anyone, anything, absolutely no one. And actually, that's one of the, like, that's a part of my path to help people take back their power. I mean, just think about it right now. We have so much technology. We have it on our phones or it's everywhere, right? And if you need an answer to something, you just go online. Like, remember those days in dinner parties when you actually had to guess who is that actor? What year it was? It's like, no, let me Google it, right?
We get to go to the great oracle.
So it's like, what if all technology was just removed? Because technology is also a tool. Now, where are you going to go? Everyone's going online for tarot readings, right? What if there's no availability? Like, what if you can't access it? You know, with the changes we're about to go through, like the global changes, you better be at the space where you can trust and go within.
Ooh,
it's going to be
that's heavy.
So important. And a deck of cards, you don't need any internet to access it. All you need is to trust yourself, right? This is that tool you can take wherever. And just think about the history of tarot and how, you know, they burned down the Library of Alexandria. And most of our, I guess our mystery schools have been kind of taken over and changed. The vibration behind it has been totally inverted. It's all backwards, right? So you have to be in the space where you're able to see everything as two things at the same time. And I love your shirt too, Wayne. It's two things at the same time. You have to be able, because we're here to learn balance.
Temperance.
Yes, we're here to experience the good and the bad and not look at either as something you shouldn't be taking part in or as the only thing you should be doing. Like, either extreme is not going to be helpful when it comes to, you know, soul growth. Because when you think about it, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking, guys.
Oh, please.
But when you think about like the chemistry of the human brain, let's look at this really fast. If you have someone who's far left, I'm going to use this as an example, who has a certain like liberal belief, right? And then you have far right, very, very conservative. They're both like, if you look at the changes in their brain, like the chemical changes, it's going to be identical. Like, so they actually do agree because they're actually both at the same imbalance. Like it has nothing to do with the actual details and facts and it has to do with the energy you're sending out. And you're sending out an energy of imbalance when you're so extreme, and learning to, I guess, marry the two thoughts and say, hey, your thought is okay. My thought is okay. Like, they both can actually be true, because truth only exists in a paradox. Like, it's going to change as time changes, just like we change, right? So, and that's what we're here to learn. This is a playground. We're learning to play with the energies and create whatever it is we want. That's what we're here to do, not to restrict or limit anything. So
you have framed something, Natacha, that is just wonderful. You said, we're here to experience both good and evil. Not that one's good, not that one's evil. It has its role.
Right.
And as a sovereign spirit being, I don't know if I have a soul so much. I know I have a spirit. I still debate the whole issue of the soul. But anyway, because it's something I've been meditating a lot. I ask the audience here, well, what is evil? Who is responsible for evil? How does evil come about? The conundrum is that if there is such a perfect, quote unquote, God, then how did imperfection come from perfection? And you have brought some clarity in this aspect that it's not an issue of choosing one or the other. It's a point of actually being aware and experiencing both.
That's the point. That's why you're here. You're an individual. Like each of us is like a piece of source, right? And let's just say source wants to experience everything possible. Everything possible. Everyone needs to have the freedom to make whatever choice they feel like they need to make in that specific point. Like you have to be able to do that freely. Otherwise, you're not playing the game right. And then another aspect is we take life so seriously, right? It's just like live a little, laugh a little. Sometimes you will fall on your face. You're going to fall on your butt. Sometimes you're going to purposely make the decision that's going to take you through a lot of ups and downs because the soul wants to experience that. It does. It wants, and I know, Wayne, you're not really into the soul thing, but it's,
well, I mean, I'm not saying I don't have one. I just, I get confused. Is it ego or is it, the other aspect? And if I move on, does my soul become an avatar, an egregore, a thought form? Do I give birth to this?
It's a memory. It's the memory. Like, so that's the part that allows you to go into the Akashic records and
That's
remember.
how I see it. It's the memory keeper.
Life.
That's what I see.
Yes.
So you can drop it, Wayne. I think you can drop it.
But I've told you the vision I had 3 years ago, November 11th, where I was in the shower. And then the next thing I'm stepping through this portal and I knew these people and I was in, I would say it was a village, but it was, there was walks and what have you. But I went into my building and in there was this console. Now, when I walked through, they had been expecting me. And I'm going to get emotional about this, but because it was so real. What I brought with me was this opalescent stone that was kind of a tear shape. And when I walked into my place, there was a console that had other similar type stones. And when I put this one in the slot, it was my life here, all my emotions. And then this force came in, wasn't a personality, it was a force. And it plugged into the memories and the other memories lit up. And these were apparently past lives. So anyway, it was very profound. And the emotions that I felt, particularly for Lynn, were so intense and so real. And then I came back into the shower. I'm in the shower in almost a fetal position crying, So yeah, wife was a little freaked out about that, but.
That's so beautiful, Wayne.
I saw?
You know what I saw when you said that, Wayne?
What's that, hon?
It's almost like those are the seeds that we're planting in the gardens of creation for our own experiences as a soul. And that's your seeds. And those get implanted and you plug those in to your new body if you decide to come into another system. So you have all of that consciousness and all of those data points in your new construct of whatever body you decide to create or take on from this point forward. I literally saw those are your own personal seeds of creation. Wow. Potent.
Wow. That's like, you know how we choose our lives and we make the contract of what we want to experience. And we also ask, listen, if I'm going off track, send this in.
Yeah.
So as she was just talking, it's like you asked for that to be implanted at that moment. And the shower is like a huge portal. So whenever, especially when I'm showering, that's when I get like the strongest thought forms. Like I want to run out the shower and like wet writing things. It's like, no, just finish the shower, please. Let it flow through. And you literally was able to tap into a frequency while you were there. And I feel like they're trying to tell you, hey, listen, pay attention to your emotions. And that may have been what opened you up to be emotional more.
Yeah.
And especially your wife seeing you in that vulnerable state. That's a beautiful moment, because now it's going to rain out. And it's also a strong bonding moment for the two of you. So, wow, that's nice that you reminded yourself that way. We all do that.
And look where we are now. But it brings to the point, when I think about it, when I was watching your readings, is that love is such an intense, it's tangible. Mm-hmm. It's palatable. It's not just an emotion. And it's amazing as you let yourself go for the vulnerabilities, how the love becomes even more intense.
Yes. Oh,
because,
my God,
if I meditate on this, it gets me to this point because, I become so consciously aware of the energy of another spirit being and how beautiful it really is to be able to touch that peripheral power. It will change your energy.
It does. You almost took me somewhere there as you were speaking.
He has the power to do that.
I see that. That's awesome.
But anyway, it's true. And so when I saw your gifting and you were saying some things, I'll just bring a little verification for you because, sometimes affirmation is cool. And I know you get a lot from it from your subscribers. And folks, by the way, check out her channel and subscribe. You're going to love it. Several of the cards, for instance, I used to always be afraid of tarot. To me, I was having to shed that indoctrination. And as the scales dropped from my eyes, quote unquote, I began to see that it was a communication bridge.
Right.
And I do believe that there are spirits that are not human. Mm-hmm. And I believe as well is that we're surrounded by these beings.
Yes.
And so help me on this one if I'm wrong on this, because as I've seen other tarot reading, Jenny and others, that to me, it's a cacophony of voices that want to get through. And that's where your gift comes in as that point of contact.
Okay. So you just hit the nail on the head. Okay. So it's an intuitive tool. Okay. Can you use it in a mental way? Yes, but it's not. The messages, especially when you look at the major arcana. So the major arcana is where you're going deep. You're going into like the subconscious, and every card has an energy. And a few of the energies I've actually met. So there's a few of the cards where you won't be able to access information through them unless you're initiated in, like, for example, let's talk about like the High Priestess.
Yes.
She sits in front of those pillars and she has this scroll in her hand. You can't get behind her unless she allows you through. And that initiation is not a beautiful one. It's oh gosh. That's the one. The High Priestess and the Moon. Those two are for me. When those cards come out, like, you really got to know what energy you're dealing with. So everyone has like their own style. And I remember when I first started reading tarot, it's like, this is when all of the other clairs started getting stronger. And you have conversations where I had conversations with my ancestors, right? Because the ancestors have always been with me. And when I went into this, it was almost like a disclosure, like, you got to know what this is, and but you are on your path, and they don't really tell you too much. And it's just like, just trust that you're doing what you're here to do. And then it's like they put a little baby in the jungle and say, go live, right? And then that's when you find out what you're really doing. That's when I really found out. And learning about like psychic attacks and things of that sort and how to protect your energy. Like this is some real stuff, right?
Well, and you doing what you would do would be a targeted individual for psychic attacks because you're bucking the system.
Well, not just that, when you emanate more light frequency, when you're dabbling in the clairs, you're at a different frequency. And that frequency like shows up on the grid as a lighthouse.
Oh, yes.
So you're on the map, man. Bingo. And then the dark comes in because, that beautiful thing, Wayne, the wisdom, wisdom, you can only understand and hold wisdom if you have an understanding of evil. Evil comes, that's how you learn wisdom.
Yes. And that's it. And that's the thing about it. Like, I know where I come from. Like, I've seen past lives. And I've been, masculine quite a bit, and I know my spirit. And I also, it's also knowing your limit, right? Yeah. Like, I know how far I would go. And
I struggle with that one a little.
Oh, I know if it's death, like it's literally, you have to have, my purest energy is like this warrior spirit, right? And only a few people have seen that side of me, in this plane. The ex-husband and a few siblings, right? So it's like
individuals.
I have a sense they don't do it twice, do they?
They don't. And that's the thing about it. I don't like that side of me, but I have to learn to love that side of me because it's going to be necessary at times.
I call it embracing my bitch.
Oh, yes.
Learn to love her.
Seriously.
I love it.
Learn to love her. And it's beautiful, intelligent teachings, challenging herself.
Fierce.
Yeah, beautiful, intelligent teaching, challenging herself. Or I can't remember the anagram I made for it, but it was like, then they were like, embrace your bitch. And then I saw that. It was like, you're beautiful, intelligent, but you are here teaching and challenging yourself. And it was like herself. It was like, wow. I was like, oh, okay, I can embrace that. And then that's when I met.
Side of you, when you see that side of you, you actually, it's like you expand a little bit more.
I got to meet it was a part of myself that was she was a really screwed up warrior. Like, she was holding so much trauma, and I literally had to meet that part of myself and heal and integrate that part of myself. And by integrating that part of myself with me, because I'm not in the same, what I saw was she was Valkyrie and died in the huge galactic war, and she was still fractal traumatized through that. So I brought that back into me and healed it. And wow, you want to talk about power? Holy macaroni. It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And
find your fractures.
The closest thing I can compare that to, I don't know if you all saw the most recent Doctor Strange movie.
No, I want to, but I haven't.
Okay. Because there's a scene, I don't want to do like spoil alert here.
It's okay.
So
check off if you don't want to hear.
There you go. There's a scene because actually they see other versions of them. They see the good versions. They see the bad ones. Yeah. And at the end, I forget what the evil witch's name was, who was causing so much darkness. At the end, she saw herself in the most, oh my gosh, evil way. And then she saw herself in the most purest way as a mother of two boys. And it's not until the mother version of her came and still loved her and put her hand on her face and said, I still love you. That's when you merge with your opposite. Like, we have all played all roles. We've all sat behind bars, for murder. Like, we've all been everything. Like, the person you see and you want to persecute and you want to judge, that is you.
Yes.
You have not learned to love that side of you. And it's not until we all get to the point where we can see ourselves in every single human being. Every single human being. That's when we become one.
Yes.
And that's what we're here to do. We're here to allow people to be who they are without judging them and loving them at the same time.
That's when you really open up the true gates of self-love too.
Yes.
When you can accept all of it, there's a different level of love you receive from creation itself, because you've reduced your own boundaries to what love is and expanded your consciousness about love. And you can see love even in darkness. Boy, when you can get to those places, that is truly ascension and sovereignty. That's when you really get to new potentials.
Yeah, some people say that's their definition of love, being able to see myself in everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's love. I see myself in everyone. I don't judge them. I mean, that's like what we need right now. And with what's happening right now, especially with the energy that's going on, it's just love yourself.
Right.
If you love yourself, you'll be able to love one another, right?
I've always said that. Ditch all the 10 commandments and just adopt the 11th. Love one another as you would love yourself. Bingo. Everything else is wrapped up in the one.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's that simple.
This is an amazing discussion because, what religion does is that it divides us inside individually, because it tells you that in one part, you're this beautiful creation, but in the other part, you're this dirty sinner.
Right.
And, most of us spend the rest of our lives trying to get back to that place of neutrality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it tears people's up. I mean, that dark night of the soul, there was a really dark night of the soul for me back in 2010. And it was, I had a rope around my neck. And it was at that epiphany of where I stepped outside of myself and realized that I was punishing an innocent person.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
And, it was that moment again, you get back from that, the edge of the precipice. But well, and then I've learned over the years that this beautiful creature, this being, it was the amount of self-inflicted pain was being ministered by myself, not the outside.
Yes.
So
that is the light bulb moment. And that's actually when you really, really, that's when you really dedicate yourself to self, right? And the spiritual community, it's like, let's just say if a person's like, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but it's like you switch one belief for another, because spirituality has now become like a coping mechanism, right? Where it's just, I am love and light and everything is all good. And, I'm not a part of that anymore, which in itself is judgment. And yes, it's learning that you're okay. You're supposed to experience everything.
Yes. And certain people have to be the villains. We have to have we have to. There's no way to have polarity without it. It is a beautiful dance of energies.
This is what we're here to do. Sometimes you'll be the villain.
Yes, we've been it before.
To you sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like you won't even know. And that's not the point though, right? It's just you're going to have to partake in everything unless you want to be a hermit your whole life and sit in isolation, which means you're forfeiting.
Yeah, that's a fail to me.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
It is. I need to go by myself and I can't be around people. I mean, there's a time and a place for everything, right? And there's sometimes
when you need to be the hermit, right? But that's just so you can go out to experience again with a fresh perspective.
There you go.
Renewed spirit. Yeah. Take time, reflect, and then go get it again.
It's the imbalance. It's the imbalance that's the issue. It's when you go too extreme on anything. Oh, belief systems are not bad. Sometimes you're going to need a belief system to get to a certain outcome, right? And then you throw that out and then you move to the next, whatever you're doing. I think what we have to understand, I'm doing what's best for me in this moment, right? I may say something, it's going to make the whole room turn everybody off. And then when everyone tell me they're turned off, I'm going to double down on it. Right. And I'm wrong. Let's just say I'm actually wrong. I've lost my mind with this view. Right. I'm going to double down on it because I'm convicted in it. It's not wrong for me. I'm following. It's all energy. My energy says that I need to stick to this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's me setting my own boundaries. Whether or not you like it is irrelevant. Right. So I'm just doing what's best for me. And that's the point.
I heard this beautiful concept from my spiritual team one time, and they said, they put it in my head in my first person. They were like, my purpose is more important than your opinion.
Yes.
And that was a profound day of reckoning for me, to help me to not let what other people think or say affect me so much. It was the powerful, beautiful truth. And that was like, don't underestimate what your purpose is, because if you knew your purpose, their opinion would not matter. That was profound. And that really helped me to heal a lot of my own self-doubt and self-worth. Those words were potent.
That's one of the hardest parts for people, letting go of other people's opinions. And we go through this throughout our life. Sometimes you let go a chunk, and then the next stage you have to let go another chunk. And then the next stage of your, it's like we're continuously growing. We're continuously going through different lessons, ups and downs. That's one of the things that spirituality sells you. Like, oh yeah, you're going to get to a place of just pure happiness. Listen, it's all about finding peace within throughout whatever you're going through, because it's going to always be ups and downs. Once you close this chapter, you're going to another one, because this is what growth is. I mean, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. Once you get to a new comfort zone that's bigger, you're going to have to get out of that one and get bigger. And then that's why we're here. So just be at a space where you're okay with self. That's why it's self-love. That's the only way you're going to always be able to keep your constant balance, And
I think I said yesterday that humanity is suffering from soul sickness right now. And the message I'm hearing here is that I think so many people, and maybe look to the tarot for guidance. But there's another thing that I think that we can bring in, is the aspect is that I think a lot of people are looking for love. And I think that's why they're looking for good news. They're trying to find something that they can hold on to.
Yeah. And tarot can do that for you, because it really gives you hope. And tarot's like, for those who are turned off, because there's been people who read tarot and then they go to the other extreme and say, tarot is bad. I'm leaving it alone. You shouldn't do. And you know what? It is bad for that person.
Yes.
Because they didn't know the limits, right? And there's other aspects where, hey, maybe your guides are telling you you're not ready to be using that tool yet. Like it comes with a lot of responsibility, especially if you're reaching the energy you send out, it comes back to you, right? Look at Wayne. He sent out all this favor, and it all came back like flooding. Like it's beautiful energy, right? And a lot of people will use tarot to heal, and it is one of those tools you can use to heal, right? But it comes to a point where you have to depend on self and not on the tool, because then you're in another system, right? It's like learning to balance everything. And some people, they're like watching tarot all day, all night. Like, turn it off. How about you go and apply all of this guidance that you're getting? Like, continuous guidance, but you're never applying it. It's like, what is this? In theory, but not in practice. Like, I know so much because I learned it, and I read this self-help book. I love when people's like, hey, this book I read, and this book I read, and this book, but you're not practicing it. And some people don't even know what it looks like. Okay, self-love. I love myself. But just yesterday, you got up at 3 a.m. and you were tired, and you had to go to work at 6, but someone called you for a ride at 3 a.m. and you couldn't even say no. Like, deep down, you didn't even want to do it. So you don't even know how to use your will to set healthy boundaries. So you're not even applying this love. So it's like people don't see the difference of application and just theory. Okay, it's just a whole bunch of information, and we get so much of this. This happens in the comment section, right? Both of you would know that. It's like, yeah, and it's fine. It's good because this is how we interact with one another, and we can learn from one another. Like, I see how in my comment sections, other people will reply to the people who's giving this, and they have their conversation. I'm like, perfect. That's beautiful. right? And because we're all helping one another. And in this, in the stage that we're in now, it's you better be ready to take responsibility for the choices you're making.
You know, when you said something, Natasha, a minute ago about we have all this information, we have all this, I don't know, call it what you want, information coming from the other side, guidance. And as you were talking, I saw a man in a swimming pool who was dying of thirst, but he's in the swimming pool.
Right. See?
That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
that's literally what's happening.
Exactly. And I think this is where we are today, is that there is so much coming in from the spirit realm, so much new gnosis that's coming forth. Old paradigms are being broken. The possibilities of potentiality are now springing forth. As I said yesterday, if, the debate is, that, the Satan Club was wanting to do an after school thing, and the Christians were all upset because it interfered with their prayer group. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, all right, but here it is again, all the information, but people are not using it. We should be able to manifest as this group. I keep saying, I look at your channel, Natasha, and your subscribers and the others, and I'm thinking, if we combine this, we're probably in the tens of millions.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
But yeah, why isn't it the fact that tens of millions of people can't come together and seem to focus in on a singularity of a goal or purpose, using all this energy, using all this information, this gnosis? What, I don't know, maybe
we're still healing the separation, right? I see you as different from me. I see you as not, I don't see you as me yet. So we're still healing that duality, right? And that's a part of what we're trying, because they keep saying, form communities. Build, like at this point, a lot of people already have a group. Come together. That's what I get a lot. It's like at this point, people who want to start from scratch, they're wanting them to just join other groups, like come together, make it bigger. So what Wayne is saying, that's really what they want, because it's necessary, but we still have, it's you versus me. We're still dealing with that. And another person, especially if they haven't truly been able to understand what self-love is, they're going to feel that either you're patronizing them or being condescending. It becomes this fight where you're not looking for a fight, but they're fighting themselves. Therefore, they're going to look at you as the opponent, right? So as we continue to heal, we send love to those who were wanting to be a part of what we're already doing. Because yes, we can make this a beautiful thing. It's just too much. I don't see it your way, and your way is wrong, and it becomes a big. I
keep seeing this most beautiful vision in my mind about the breath of creation, that, there's a point in time where it's expanding outward, and now creation is getting ready to inhale. And part of the inhalation process is the opposite of everything we've ever been taught. We've always been taught religion, to go outside of ourselves for our answers. We pray to spirit guides, our angels, all this stuff. We're going out to get information, to get reassurance, all of this stuff. I keep hearing now, everything has got to go reverse. Everything is reversing. It's going backwards. So all the information that you're seeking is hidden within you. And if we can start to learn to dive inside of our own wisdom, which they keep showing me is your heart. They're like, get into your own heart. This will solve so many of the mysteries, because most of us can't manifest what we're trying because we're utilizing outside sources, which is creating, in essence, more contracts. When you're trying to get out of them, you're actually creating more. So it's time to say, I did it, I do it, and go into your own Akashic records, go into your own inner wisdom, and work on finding out what you are. And that'll lead to a level of authenticity. And I think ultimately that's where we're all trying to go, is trying to find out, what does our authentic self look like? Because what we've been told and what we've created has nothing to do with the truth of what that is.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I'm sitting here trying to define what you were saying, Trina, and then Tasha as well is coming in self-love. And my mind is always like compartmentalize everything. And so I'm breaking down. I said, so what does self-love mean? I mean, I think that, sometimes it's the most simplest and obvious questions that we never ask ourselves. And I'm sitting here going, all right, Steiger, so let's talk about self-love. What does that mean to you?
I think it would just be what you are and emanate that frequency into this world, enjoy, and bingo, you've done it. It's that simple. I think it's so simple.
It's gonna be different for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really when you feel unrestricted, when you feel free.
Interesting.
So if you're in a space where you are truly feeling like you're able to do whatever it is that you want to do, you're loving yourself. It's like, I'm not considering that rule or what might happen out of fear. It's literally that full energy. The full energy is
just expressing my heart's desire and passion or creation in whatever way it's driving this boat. And I'm just saying, full steam ahead. Let's go.
Yes, that's it. Yes, you're totally unrestricted. You're whole, right?
Well, creation is love and love is creation. So let's do that. That's love.
Yes.
We have so many different variations of definitions of what love is, but when you break it down to its core essence, it's benevolent cooperation, creating life. That's all it is.
It's like it has no opposition. Love doesn't.
None.
Like true love is just not going to be opposed. It's just
benevolent cooperation, expressing in love.
There we go.
And the thing is that with so many people, though, when we come to this, talking about self-love, is that I think they have to get over the self-loathing. I mean, and I'm sure that the cards show that in many times when you're giving readings to individual. I've seen that I've seen it in so many other people that they really don't like themselves.
See, that's the primary messages that come out, but they have to be said in a certain way so that
I've been discretion.
I remember I went through a period where a lot of the messages were just coming out like that because that was the message. And then it just turned, people don't want to hear that. I mean, to a point, it gets a little depressing, it's like, I don't want to keep hearing about what I have to do. Like, I just, like, why? And I get it, encouragement, empowerment happens. Those who are at that point where they already are ready to take control of their lives and they're taking responsibility, they're going to take that and they'll be able to comb through it and say, okay, it's time. And that's quite a journey. It is a journey. Time, so.
It's like in the tarot on the Tower card, actually, I find that it and when it was pulled up in the reading that you did, it was so spot on. And it's the way I guess I perceived it. It wasn't fear. I found it as a guidepost. And I said, cool. Yeah. I simply checked it and I said, this is on the same frequency. So, and now I look at tarot. I don't do it every day. I rarely do it because I've got other things. But when I find someone that has the gifting, wow, to me, it's a treat. It's like going into a fine restaurant. I'm being treated to something that the spirit realm is wanting to tell me. Now, am I wise enough to hear this? Am I wise enough to receive it? And then what do I do with it?
That's the question.
That's what I get, That's why I love it. I love what you do. And I love the gifting.
Thank you. And I love doing it too. For me, it's not like work. Literally, it just allows me to be who I am. And that's what makes it for me. So that's why I love it so much. It's just, I flip a card and it becomes alive. And I'm a storyteller, right? It just becomes the story. And they sprinkle it with some advice and some guidance, but it's really.
Natacha, do you think that you have more of a connection to the spirit realm with the spirits because of the gifting that you have, the modality?
I can say that it has increased since I started. So if I'm doing like a comparison, like when I first started, I can tell you it was more I was coming more from my masculine energy, like the analytical side of me, and etc. And as the more that I started tapping into it, and I guess this is what we call doing the work, the more I go through those ups and downs and those challenges in life, what happens is I connect with the viewers that are led to me. Like I'm connecting with you at a soul level to where I can feel you. I can feel what you're going through. It helped me to be more compassionate. Like I used to be like, yeah, it's to change. And what's different? And what's saying? And now it's like, okay, I understand why you see it that way. Like it really made me, it expanded me. And I'm happy for that because it helped me on my own journey, right? And it's made me more compassionate. It's changed me as well. So to answer your question, yes, I do. I feel that I'm connected.
There's such a pleasant energy with you. I mean, and I get that because, in this role that I play, it's, with Trina and I, there's a connection there. There's, some people call it a psychic connection. I just think that we have known each other for millions of years, if you want to go. I think that so many of us, and I think that this meeting is fortuitous in the aspect that it tells me that there is potentially an interaction prior to this.
I agree. Actually, after I've conversed with you, you came to me in the astral plane, Wayne. So yeah, and you came to me like as like a teacher, like counselor, like you confirmed something that I already knew and you told it to me. Like, you know how when someone just tells you something straight up, and I was like, wow, well, thank you for that confirmation. So yeah, I definitely feel
and
that.
I'm back in this point when I remember I was writing the email to you. There was such an intensity there. I mean, but yeah. And I'm here to tell you again, I'm testifying before everybody that I'm testifying. That's all I got to tell you. And so hear me, and don't shout me down because I'm preaching good. But everything that you said has come to pass. We just had another huge, you can call it a miracle, you can call it whatever, but we're closing on a house. Typically, those closings can take 30 plus days. Yeah. We're getting one done in 11.
Wow. 11.
Wow. Oh my God, that reading that you were referencing? The ones kept coming up.
Yes. And you kept saying there is someone you're moving another state. And I wrote it down here. A move will bring joy and success, money in huge amounts forthcoming. A wish has been granted.
And so it is.
And so it is. And so it is. Mm-hmm. And in a time where you see the economy going south, it's actually going up.
You're not on this frequency. Oh.
No, I don't want on that bus,
No, but that's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. And I get a lot of stories like yours. Like, I mean, I'm saying like fortunes. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, people are living their dreams. Like it's happening. It literally is happening. And it's like, as long
it has to be coming back on you as well, because the energy that you're speaking is just, it's freaking phenomenal. I mean, yeah.
Actually, I can tell you, I'm in a very grateful space. I'm forever grateful. For me,
grateful.
Yes,
gratitude.
It's right up there. You have, before you receive, you have to be grateful.
Gratitude,
so important.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for you, for Trina, for what we call here in our group here with the Soul Tribe is I am truly one of the most blessed souls out there, if you want to say, because I'm so enriched by the energy of such beautiful people.
I love your tribe. They're awesome. They love each other. Oh my God.
It's a love fest in here at times. We've had people come in and try to disrupt it. They don't stick around, Yeah. That's not going to happen. We're going to love them. That's what we'll do. We'll just love them right there. Good. Well, the hour has just gone by Natasha, you have to come back.
I would love to. I enjoyed this. You guys are awesome. I really, really mean that. Like, as soon as I jumped in, I was like, let me tell you my life story.
And the thing about it is that we wanted it, the kinship that I feel is that, they say sometimes when strangers meet under stressful situations, strong bonds are the result. Yeah. And our chance encounter, even though it was through a medium called the internet, this medium allowed a connection to take place. And there is a bondship here. There is a kinship that says, and even if we never meet each other again, we're going to meet on the other side. It's inevitable. We're of the same. And this is what I contend, that when we cross over, you will be naturally drawn to those to whom you you send out that frequency.
Mm-hmm. Whoever you energetically align with, that's who it's gonna be like a magnet. And that's what happened. Even when you jumped on that frequency on saw my channel, you jumped into that channel because you were there. You matched the vibration of that message, and they were telling you, listen, Wayne, it's about to happen. It's about
Kalabanga, baby. That's what I heard.
I
mean,
I love it.
I mean, and for full disclosure, during that period of time, you were doing a reading, and then there was 14 other readings that were done that were saying the same thing.
You were really on that frequency.
Oh man,
wow.
Girl, I tell you, we'll have to talk sometime, because the change, and in fact, you said that there would be a complete change in karma, that there was this reverse taking place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's justice. That's what's happening. The balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Balance. Everything you've sent out, it's coming back right now. So make sure you're sending out good stuff,
You hear that, y'all? That's all I got to say. Love one another. Love yourselves.
Yeah.
Well, I have been truly enriched today. And Tasha, you have to come back. You have to come back.
I really would. It was fun. I really enjoyed it.
And Trina, thank you, my darling. You're always just the glow that just continues to make the whole atmosphere grow. So,
Wayne, I just love you. And Natasha, such an honor to meet you and connect with you.
Definitely. I want to know your channel. Is it listed on this?
Trina Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Is Trina Phoenix?
Yep. But, it's like just seeing your face and connecting with you, even through this medium. It's like now there's like a love.
Yes, I agree. Because I see myself in you. It's like, okay.
And this is how we stay eternal with each other. There's no division now, because we've bonded once again in love. Yes. So thank you for being a part of my love stream.
Thank you for having me.
I'll tell you, I'm walking on sunshine. That's all I got to tell you.
Walking on sunshine.
My wife tells me that. But Natasha, I grew up in a state home, and my roommate was a black guy by the name of James, and James taught me soul music, introduced me to the Temptations. Oh yeah. I mean, anyway, so, as my wife said, yeah, she says that, for a white boy, I dance pretty good, And I said, I got the soul. That's all I just did,
He's a walking jukebox too. He's always got a song in his head.
Well, because y'all make it, you just give me such love. I mean,
oh my God, y'all are awesome.
All right, everybody, we're going to end the Love Fest for right now. So make sure to check out Natasha and her channel, The Birthday Gift, because Natasha, you have given us all a gift today.
Yes,
You've made those days that when we've had those rotten birthdays, this is the one where we've gotten our gifts. And I'm walking away with my goodie bag.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed it. So for me, it was a gift as well to be here. So equal exchange, right?
See, that's how it works. All right, all you beautiful people, we love you. And make sure you just copy what we've said here today. And we may not be able to change the world overnight, but we can change it one small piece at a time. That's how it works. Thank you both. Stay with me. We will see y'all tomorrow for sure.